Hi YouTube, I want to talk to you today about a downdraft installation. In this video, I am not going to show you the installation process. When I installed this, I had an old one in here that I took out, and I thought it would just take too long for me to record the video. But what I'll do is walk through the process that I used to complete the installation, and then also give you a few tips on some things that you should consider. This is a pretty easy install. It wasn't too difficult, not nearly as difficult as I thought it would be. But this is a universal GE downdraft here with this cooktop. And this thing looks really nice, but in terms of being a practical system that's reliable, this is not it. This thing is not very efficient at all. If you are considering installing one of these, if you don't have it, or if you're building a home that has a similar setup with an island here on the cooktop or a range top, and you're thinking of putting in a downdraft, I would encourage you to consider other options. This thing doesn't do the greatest job with removing smoke from this cooktop at all. I've had it here for a few years, and the other one it was in pretty bad shape. So I took it out. I ordered this one directly from GE, and it was delivered a couple of weeks ago, and I completed the installation. But again, I'm going to talk to you today about the process that I used to complete the installation and give you a few tips on things that I learned. But this job is pretty easy, and I think you definitely can do it. But if you have any questions on things that you may run into, just drop them in the comments down below. So with that, I'll walk you through what I did to complete this installation. But this draft comes with, it has a button on top here on the right-hand side, which allows it to be lowered and raised. And on its side here on the right-hand side, there is a switch that you turn, and it increases the ventilation, or you could shut it off completely. And again, this button here on the top is to lower it down. Okay, let's look underneath so I can show you what I did. We are now underneath the cabinet, and again, I just wanted to show what the downdraft looks like from the bottom. As you can see, it has an electrical cord on the right-hand side that controls the fan as well as the exhaust function. And then on the left-hand side here is the exhaust outlet. And as I mentioned earlier, I had an existing system, and this exhaust was already in place, and it was pretty simple to configure this to attach to the existing exhaust. When I received this, it came with the exhaust on the lower right-hand side here, and it was venting straight down. But this universal system will allow you to change the outlet for the ventilation. And what I did is place it on the left-hand side here and use all of the existing ductwork to attach it to the existing system. The only thing I had to purchase was the tape that you see there. And once I get everything in place, I use a couple of screws to secure it, and then I wrap the entire connection points there with the tape, and that worked out pretty well. So that's really the only thing you need to do in terms of the exhaust. And there are a couple of more things I want to show you as it relates to the mounting, so stay tuned. Okay, in terms of the mounting, there are some brackets that come in the package with this downdraft, and one bracket goes on the right-hand side here where I'm pointing with the screwdriver. It has one screw on the side there, which is really difficult for you to see, but the screw is right there on the side, and it attaches to the downdraft itself. And then there are two screws that attach to the floor. So that basically holds the downdraft in place there and stabilize it to keep it from moving. There is also one on the left-hand side that I'm not able to show you because it's behind this ventilation pipe here. Okay, in terms of the bracket that attaches to the top, there is this long screw here that comes in the box, and then there's a piece of wood that I attached above that. And basically that wood is right up against the counter. So that stabilizes the top to keep it from moving. The piece of wood that I attach is roughly an inch or 5/8 of an inch. And there is also another one on this side here. So there are just two of those there. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the two brackets that are at the bottom. So that's it. That is it in terms of what's holding this thing in place. Once you get everything tightened up, it doesn't move at all. And it's pretty heavy, actually. So the weight itself will pretty much hold it in place, but I also encourage you to ensure that you use the screws and everything to attach it to get it stabilized. Okay, now I will show you what the top looks like. So I will extend the exhaust fan up. And here on the top, these brackets come already attached to the exhaust fan. And as you can see here, it extends over the granite countertop here on either side. So that will keep the fan secured in terms of its placement in the cabinet. And then this space was already here before. As I mentioned, there's another fan that I replaced. And there is a slight gap there in the granite as well as on this side here. There's really nothing I could do about that. The granite was already cut that way. And it seems that the other fan extended out a little bit farther and it covered that hole there. But when it's in the down position, you really can't see much of a gap at all there. There's a very slight gap that you can see on either side. But overall, it looks pretty good. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, this cooktop downdraft works okay, but it's not the most efficient system. But if you have an existing one that you need to replace, this is the solution. This is the universal one. I do like the fact that it goes in really easy. And then also the fan itself is pretty strong. It's much stronger than the one that I had before. So I do like that about it. But again, it's not very efficient, and I really didn't have any other option. There's no way for me to change the exhaust in this house without going through a lot of expenses, but it works okay. And I hope this video gives you an idea of how to complete the installation. Again, it's pretty easy. I did have to lift up this cooktop in order to get the downdraft in there, but that was pretty easy. I just removed the seal around the edge, and it lifted up very easy, and I cleaned it up, the edge, and then replaced the cooktop again, and everything works perfect. But again, I just wanted to give you this quick overview to hopefully help you with your installation. So again, if you have any questions about anything, please leave me a comment below.